Start again. Good evening, Agenda Rights. Bath time. How you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm quite tired and a bit bored of Manchester United at the moment, to be perfectly honest.
How can you be bored? There's been absolutely no news today. How can you be bored?
I just feel down in the dumps about the club at the moment.
Oh, bath time. Chill up, man. We'll be back to lose. We'll be back to losing in 2 weeks. It'll be fine.
Get the passion going.
Yeah, there you go. Yabba. How we doing, sir?
Yeah, I'm good, Mr. B. And most importantly, how are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
How's
I feel
like
they didn't steal my windscreen wipers off my van, so it was good today, I suppose, isn't it? It was all right. It's work. It pays the bills at the end of the month, isn't it?
You must be like the amount of driving you do. You must be experienced driver. Is it like second nature to you now? Do you need to concentrate a lot of the time, or? But what I'm saying is, like sometimes you can drive and just be.
Yeah, you just switch off.
Yeah, you can switch off, and sometimes
don't switch off. No. I won't switch off.
Or does it take a lot of concentration for you?
No, there ain't no concentration, bro. You find an address, you park up outside, you deliver their stuff, tell them buy and go. There's no concentration.
Is it different though to driving home?
What do you mean?
Like, so when you go, Yabba.
No, you go. I would like to hear.
I was saying that, like, because you're driving somewhere new, right?
Yeah.
Like, you've got to be more switched on. But like when I drive home, sometimes I just arrive at home and I've got like almost no memory of the drive back. So I was wondering if when you go home from a delivery, if it's like kind of like automatic, but when you drive there,
not really.
You're just not thinking at any time.
I have to think, man. The speed limit's 20 miles an hour. They got cameras everywhere, man. I have to concentrate. I can't afford to slack or I don't work. You know
so
what
how did it work like. Before people had sat nav and things like that? How was it?
Why are you asking me? You're taking the piss. You are taking the piss. I don't know. I didn't do delivery then. When you think I was born this
use a map.
You remember the A to Z?
A to Z. Yeah, A to Z.
A to Z, London A to Z.
Yeah.
Do you know anyone who's a cab driver? Like, I'd love to know. Like, is it the knowledge that they have to do?
Yeah,
they did. I remember, like, I read a study about how they they looked at the brain density of cab drivers, like before and after taking the knowledge, which for anyone who doesn't know is it's kind of like an exam on London roads, like the best routes to take and things like that. So basically, it's like sat nav before you had sat nav, and they had very, very dense hippocampuses, which is where memory lives. So shout out to all the taxi drivers, I guess.
Yeah, well, I got sat nav, so I ain't got one of those big hypostases or whatever the word that said.
You know, like you have to be really careful these days because I've seen the new technology they got. They can actually see into your car, and if you're holding your phone. I know a few years ago they had a new rule about you're not allowed to use your phone. On it, but it was usually
you should take heed.
See you drive next to you, see you doing it. But now they've got technology where they can look into your car and actually zoom in and see you actually messing about with your phone. Now,
doing Facebook.
Anything bad, but sometimes I'm driving, and because I'm automatic, I can actually do things, multitask. I'm not gonna say I'm doing bad things, but you know what I mean. And so you have to.
So you're Superman, yeah?
In a way, because I do the same journey, Mr. B. I just drive to work and back.
You are breaking the law.
I know.
Okay.
Don't tell so and so certain people. You know what I mean?
Don't tell Solo.
No, don't so and so. You know, don't tell people. Just in case. I don't want to incriminate myself.
I gotcha. Look, but evening, everyone. With Klopp taking on the responsibilities, I think it's hilarious. All you Liverpool fans who loved him, and all those Dortmund fans who loved him. Oh, I'm not going to work in football again, and he's head of the what's his name, the Red Bull Group. Oh, never mind. Let's see what Jeff is saying. How you doing? Well, what is this all about? More arguing on the tube today. More than likely. Elite baller. I'll say hi. Jeff is saying you should have more people in the argument like Rich is calling. Well, look, Rich does what he does. We do what we do. It's one of those things, Jeff, I'm afraid. Yo, I am Titanium. I hope you're doing well. We deserve better. It's saying me too to something or other. Oh, there you go. When I drive on autopilot. You people driving on autopilot. It's no. That's what causes accidents. Simon, I hope you're doing well, man. I hope you are on the mend. Let's have a look. Is this obsession leading to our club making idiotic decisions? What obsession? Oh, here we go. Mr. Question. Let me ask the panel. The United spend more time than any other fan base talking about potential transfers. I can't. There's no point in talking about transfers now. Until there's just no point. But some people actually like that. I understand maybe your generation don't, Andrew, but there's a lot of people who do love the transfers, to be fair. Let's have a look. Andrew, he's going in, he's going in. 52 years, never had an accident. Fair enough.
Wow, well done.
I wrote my car off less than 7 days after passing my driving test.
How did you write it off?
What are you talking about?
Well, I passed my driving test and then I drove to Northampton, and it was quite scary because my mate for some reason had a whole roast chicken, and he was just holding it in the front, and I was driving along having a sing song, and I was coming up to a roundabout, and I didn't know where I was going.
I feel like chicken tonight. Were you singing that?
Yeah, and so I slammed the brakes on and rear-ended someone, and I looked over and my heart stopped because instead of my mate having a head, he was just covered in chicken, and I thought he'd died. And that was within 7 days passing my driving test.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah, God. You must have been in some accidents. Come on.
Who, me? Yeah, I've had loads. When I used to drive the buses, I saw more than I had. To be fair, I saw people get knocked over. I saw one guy get sent. I thought he went high. I told the policeman he was higher than the bus, but the policeman said no, he couldn't have been that high. But he got the shit knocked out of him.
Wow.
But yeah, I've seen loads. It's just as long as it doesn't involve me, man, and I don't have to be a witness, I just carry on driving. I don't have time for that.
Were you on the buses on the 7th of July, 2007 or whatever, when they all blew up?
I don't know. What year was that? I don't know. How long ago was that?
How old 20 years ago?
20 years.
I imagine you'd remember it. So I was going to ask you, was it terrifying? But
no, I must have been. Yeah, I must have been off. my memory's not as good as it used to be bath time.
It would have been in before 2006. It would have been 2005, I think. 7/7 bombings.
I haven't been. No, I've probably been off the buses for about. Yeah, probably about 20 years, 22 years, something like that, maybe.
Wow.
It's a shit job, man. It's a shit job. It really is a shit job. But look, Sol's managing Man United by all accounts. So look, let's get on with it. Look, Ten Hag's still here.
Ten Hag's at the wheel.
Yeah, there you go.
Very good.
He's not going anywhere. Until at least November, or until we lose to Brentford, and then it starts all over again. So look, we've decided to do something completely different today. Bath time. Will you be explaining to the clientele what is happening today?
If I get paid, if they're clientele, but absolutely. Yeah, today there's not much news. Mount's got injured. Ten Hag is still at the wheel. So last night we talked about the best South American 11 versus the best European 11. And I have made a very detailed PowerPoint on the best European 11. And Yabba's got his best South American 11. But just before we start, for me, I've just picked players that I grew up with. So I'm not going to be putting Charlton or Best in because I didn't experience their football careers. So I don't feel that I can accurately judge them. Nice. So that's what we're going to do tonight. The best 11. Do you want to go player by player, Yabba?
Well, what formation? Do we have the same formation?
Yeah, we do. 4-3-3.
All right, we've both got 4-3-3. So I don't know. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. But you've said you've gone by players that you know. there's some players in my team that I was too young to experience, but because I love football, I'm a historian. I research. It's like I love boxing. I can tell you every heavyweight boxing champion since the title ever began. It's just something, I'm a bit of a nerd like that. So I think it's really good to know the history of footballers and really bring them back to life by remembering how great they were and what their achievements were. Because I don't like this modern age premiership, modern age thing about football where they forget about the legends of the past. There were so many great players in the past, and I think it's important to keep their memory alive. And so my team does consist of a few people you will know and some people you might not know.
You just go a bit hard to these people that nobody's heard of.
Well, we learned about them today, maybe. Yeah.
The other thing, Yabba, is that I've been a bit biased by international competitions as opposed to league, because I think that players live longer in the memory who do stuff like in the World Cup or the Euros or so on. But I've got no issues with you bringing up, like, I can't wait to see Stanley Matthews at right back or whatever you've got there.
He's not South American.
Stanley Matthews.
Saved. Great save.
Honestly,
We start with goalkeepers because that's a great save.
Well, I used to live near a street called Bernardo Higgins in Chile. He's one of the big liberators of South America. All right, shall I show you my short list of keepers that didn't make it?
Yeah, for sure.
Can we? Does everybody understand what the topic of the show is today? Yeah, and what we're
very
doing?
simply. I'm doing the best European players. Yabba is doing the best South American players.
For each position, are we going to ask people to just get a general feel once we give our speech or a summary about which goalkeeper or which position we go for, and ask Mr. B, and then ask people in the comments what they think, who takes it?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. Hi, Tyrone. How you doing, man?
All right. These are the players that almost made it to being my goalkeeper.
Oh wow!
Do you know who they are? First of all,
I'm shocked that it almost these are all three great players, man. But anyway, your team. Go on.
Well, Neuer revolutionised goalkeeping, in my opinion, and won a World Cup. Peter Schmeichel, to be honest, he would have been my number one if he hadn't a cartwheeled about against United. But I think it's also really important that he also won an international tournament for Denmark, which isn't too far away from what the Greeks did at Euro 2008 or 4. And then Iker Casillas was the captain of, in my opinion, the greatest European team that we've seen, which is the Spain 2008-2010 team. That won the Euros.
Could anybody have been in goal in that team?
Probably not Onana, to be perfectly honest.
I'm really surprised. These are three great goalkeepers, and they're not even starting for you.
No, they're not starting for me. I think, right. The comments know who number one is.
Okay, let's have a look. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's have a look. Let's have a look. We will get them up. Do you want me to get the comments up to see who they're saying first?
Yeah, just flinging them up.
Right. So Andrew Williams has gone Buffon. Bart is saying, why no Buffon? Hold on. Bloody hell, this computer. I am Titanium saying Buffon should be there. Bart saying Schmeichel won a tournament that Keane and Robson didn't. Elite Baller is laughing at Dudek. He's asking why, and Bart's asking why no Van der Sar.
Because all these guys won an international trophy, and Van der Sar didn't. And I said earlier on that I'm being more biased towards international football as opposed to club football.
Okay.
And I think that everyone knows that the number one and the player I've picked is Buffon. He won a World Cup. He played for about 25 years. He went down with Juve, I think, and then went back up again. And in my opinion, is the greatest goalkeeper that I've seen in my lifetime. I don't know about Dino Zoff or Gordon Banks or players like that, but Buffon would. And also, he's just been voted about 5 minutes ago as the best goalkeeper ever by a panel of goalkeepers, which has filled me with a bit of confidence.
Right, so Tyrone, best European keepers have to be Schmeichel, Kahn, Cech, Buffon, Neuer, Courtois, Casillas, De Gea, Seaman, Van der Sar. Best keeper overall is Buffon. A lot of you lot went for Buffon, to be fair. Simon Warner's gone Oliver Kahn. Okay, Carl, are you going to match? Are you going to be able to top Buffon?
Well, Lev Yashin, great Russian goalkeeper.
Exactly, but as I said, these are keepers that I've only seen like in highlights and stuff. And whilst they're still brilliant and they're still part of football. For me, I didn't experience them, so the players that I've experienced have more impact to me than the old ones do. Or we're getting into like, was it Fatty Folks, like that massive big keeper that was 17 stone or whatever?
Yeah.
Like, we're going to put Dennis Compton in as a box-to-box midfielder.
Yeah, no, we're not going to go there.
Come on, then. I want to hear your one.
Well, I just want to say, I think Bath Time's done a great job there, but he's basing it on players he's seen. He's also basing it on internationals. Now, Buffon obviously won a World Cup with Italy in 2006, but I still think there's Neuer, Schmeichel, a few others as well who maybe could be better goalkeepers. But
which one would you go for?
I like Neuer. I think Neuer's been fantastic. And Oliver Kahn, but it's your choice. I think it's a great choice. But I think with Buffon, he's always had his reputation of being a great goalkeeper. But he's a great personality as well. Can he kick? He's got good at saving. He's good, can save a lot. I don't know. It's a tough one, isn't it? But I do think I think where you got the advantage with the European style, I think the Europeans are always going to beat us on goalkeeping.
Us.
I'm a South American today.
Okay, hola. Juan Mandy Jr. Hota, JJ.
Yabba. Yeah. So I think the goalkeepers you're probably going to get from me because I've struggled and it's a great choice. Anyone you would have chosen, I think, would trump my goalkeeper. So guys in the comments and you, Mr. B, I'm going to try and sell this one to you. My reserve goalkeeper is Jose Chilvert. He was a Paraguayan goalkeeper. Everyone knows about him. Used to score free kicks and penalties. Bit of a maverick as well, which is something all goalkeepers should be. They should tick that box. And great goalkeeper as well. A leader. Took Paraguay to World Cups, and with his goal scoring record, it's just outrageous what he was doing, But he's not going to be my starter. He's going to be on the bench. I've gone for someone who's quite modern because I think I've tried to search for great goalkeepers from the past and that can come to my mind. And Taffarel, Dida, all these guys, I don't think they're good enough, in my opinion, to compete. So I've gone for someone today, and it was between Edison and Alisson. And I just think Alisson pips it for me because he's taller. They've got great kicking ability as well. And what he's done with Liverpool to win a Champions League and win the league title. And over the years, he's proven he's got the best save percentage in the league. I know it's only a few games gone or whatever, but he's been fantastic in the Premiership. And this is someone everyone will know in the comments, Alisson. And when you're comparing him to all-time greats, like Buffon versus Alisson, I do believe majority of people will go for Buffon because Alisson's still playing and he could still do something miraculous, which could raise his stock. But at the moment, as things stand, I'm willing to give this to Bath Time. But what do you guys think? Mr. B, I'm not selling it well. I'm taking an L on this one. But
I think you're gonna have to. I mean, we've got more belief in you supporting Ten Hag than you have of you pushing Alisson over Buffon. I don't think there's any argument that Buffon is the better goalie. Tyrone is saying on here, can't argue with Becca. Titanium is saying Willie Caballero. Yeah. Who the hell is that?
He played for us.
What, for Man United?
No, he's that goalkeeper that they used to bring on for City that used to save the pens.
Never heard of him. I have never heard of him. Vincent, I saw your message. I don't really want to put it up there, but condolences, my friend. Condolences, yeah. Here we go. It's not a good area to choose from. Where's the bloody message gone? Yeah, from to choose from Allison and Edison, but he would go for who?
Dida.
Do I need to change my fucking glasses? I still can't see that says Dida. I think I have to change my glasses. Okay, fair enough. Dida. Would Dida over any of the two? Yabba?
It's all opinion, isn't it? I respect Andrew's opinion. He's finished, he's retired, but I don't think he's as good as Allison.
Who was the keeper, Yabba, in the final between Brazil and Italy? Who would have saved the pens? Is it Taffarel then?
Brazil and Italy.
Yeah, when Baggio missed.
Oh, that final. That's Taffarel, yeah.
Yeah, I'd have gone with Taffarel.
Yeah.
All right. This one is probably going to be, honestly, I'm so interested about what people think about left back, because I'm fairly sure it's very easy to guess who I've gone for, and I think it's easy to guess who Yabba's gone for. And I'm really interested to see what people go with. But for my left backs,
Okay.
I think only one of these people might not know, but obviously we've got Ashley Cole, who I think is up there as one of the greatest produced by Europe. Jordi Alba, a key part of the Spanish and Barcelona teams, and my hero as a left footer. This is Sinisa Mihailovic, who is the best set piece taker Europe has ever produced, and rest in peace, an absolutely incredible footballer. But I think it's really obvious who the best left back from Europe is. I can see that a lot of people are getting it. Should I just do it because it's very obvious?
Yeah, go on then.
Paolo Maldini.
Right. So we've got Tyrone. 1 second. Tyrone is gone with Maldini. Andrew Williams is gone with Maldini.
Yeah.
What's this list from Simon Warner? His choice of defenders. Oh, there you go. Nesta, Cannavaro, Desai, Koeman, Ramos, Puyol, Baresi, Moore, Maldini, and Beckenbauer. Bloody
very good, Simon.
That's a list, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Don't worry, a lot of them are going to feature.
Wow. Yeah, sorry, I'll let you finish.
Last time, why have you gone for Maldini?
Because I think that he is probably not just the best left back, but the best but the best defender in wide areas that I've ever seen. He was beautiful on the ball. I mean, when you're talking about players that are still mentioned today, Maldini is still mentioned today because he took defending to an absolute art form. Watching him tackle was like looking at a sculpture from Michelangelo or something. Perfectly balanced, beautiful left foot. He just, when you look at him, he sort of transcends football in the same way that people like, I don't know, LeBron James do, where you can, like, someone who'd never seen football before could look at him and understand that that's one of the best players like on the pitch. He was just an absolute dream to watch, and a huge career. Played for the great AC Milan at the time, foundation of the Serie A glory years. I mean, you could carry on for ages, but I mean, man, it's Paolo Maldini. What do you want me to say?
Well, we've got somebody saying that he wasn't a left back. He wasn't a left back. He was a centre back.
That's either Adam. That's either Andrew or Bart, isn't it?
That's Andrew.
Yeah.
Bart has got a list up that includes Robertson, Maldini, Robertson, Irwin, and Zambrotta. Trust Bart. Yeah, and he's actually saying Robertson. Oh, God bless him. Go on.
I finished. It's Yabba.
Yeah, like I conceded with the goalkeeper, and it's going to be hard to trump Maldini, who is recognised probably as the best, one of the best defenders of all time, and probably the best left back of all time, because he could do a bit of everything, you know. I've gone for a Brazilian, someone who sort of changed the game, someone that's known to everyone here, is Roberto Carlos. And
Mm-hmm.
the reason I picked him is because he was inspirational. I mean, the speed that he was like a little mighty mouse, you know. The free kicks, I don't think his free kick percentage was very high, but once he shot at the wall, people would have to close their eyes and hope that it swerved around them. That goal he scored in the Tournoi in 97, the year before the World Cup 98, was, to this day, one of the best goals I've ever seen. To be able to bend the ball with the outside of your foot, make it go out and in again, and people just standing still in awe. That's fantastic. But not just that, as a defender, he was tough in one-on-one duels. He would run with you. He had the pace, had the ability to get forward, link up, cross. He crossed for Zidane in 2001, didn't he, for that goal against Leverkusen? He's so much. He just represents the modern fullback. Maldini has a bit more about him, because he can play in different positions. But if you talk about a guy who wants to go in forward and give you an attractive style of play and give you that balance, you know, and he's Brazilian as well. He's got flair, free kicks, all kinds of things. I think he's hard to trump, but it's a tough argument. But I would actually say Maldini is probably overall better. But if you want to play a certain style of football and it was good on the eye, going forward attractive, then maybe people might have an argument for Carlos. But I would concede on this one, especially because it's Maldini, that Maldini might trump me. But it depends what the comments think, and it depends what Mr. B thinks again.
All right.
I'd concede as well, because Carlos is such an exciting player that if people said they'd prefer to see him play than Paolo Maldini, I can't argue with that.
Yeah. No. But it has to be conclusive, Mr. B.
So we've got Andrew Williams saying Roberto Carlos was great. Roberto Carlos was brilliant from Tyrone. Bart is actually asking a question. Roberto Carlos over Marcelo.
Of course.
Tyrone saying he's never seen a goal like Roberto Carlos's. We haven't. I mean, he probably missed a few of them trying, but I don't think I have.
There's one by Eder against Argentina in 1982, and he sort of swerved like that, hit the crossbar and came down.
Was that down to the ball?
It swerved. It was a swerve, and then but that one's special, isn't it? The Tournoi goal.
Agile Beast is saying Carlos should be a no-brainer, stands out above all other contenders. Roberto Carlos, from an elite baller, is the best left back, and Cafu, best ever right back. Okay.
So who's going to be left back in the change room, Maldini or Carlos?
I'm going to tell you, but no one's going to like my centre back choices. So let's put Maldini in, because you're going to get the next three.
Maybe not. Okay.
Maldini. Okay, we're going. Well,
big up Nicholas, by the way. He did say Ricardo Quaresma did score with his outside of his foot, could bend the ball like that. Modric does that now. Paul Merson used to do that. Can you do that, Darius? Can you pass with the outside?
What, Trivella's? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Field football. Go on, that's how you learn it. All right. My centre backs, these are the guys that didn't make the list, I'm afraid. Marcel Desailly, Cannavaro, Puyol, and Jaap Stam. Those are my four runners-up. Yabba, would any of them, do you think, have a shout at being the best centre-back in Europe from 1996 onwards? Maybe Desailly.
Not many centre-backs win the Ballon d'Or, and Cannavaro there with his World Cup has got a Ballon d'Or and a World Cup to add to his name. Desailly was known as the Rock. In his days at AC Milan, he was fantastic. John Terry still talks highly of him as a world-class player, and obviously you saw what he did with that Milan team from Capello. Carlos Puyol wouldn't be my best of all time. I just think he's he's part of a good team and not the best defender. Jaap Stam, obviously, as Man United fans, he gets props, but I don't think he's the best of all time. Out of that list, I think Cannavaro would have a shout, but I'm interested to know your pairing for the front two, because there's classics, isn't there? But you said you're picking players you've seen.
Yeah,
so it's got very interesting. I'm really curious to see what you got.
So people like Moore, Beckenbauer, I'm afraid I didn't experience them, so I haven't stuck them in. Or Alan Hansen for Bar. Right, I expect to get a lot of grief for this, but I have gone with John Terry and Nesta as the two best centre-backs that I've seen in my lifetime. I think that John Terry is the best defender is the best centre back that I've ever seen, and Nesta is the most stylish. People talk about Rio and things, but Nesta was a defender that loved flair and defending, and like Euro 2004, he and Cannavaro were absolutely unreal. And Nesta won a World Cup as well, and I think he's absolutely fantastic. But I completely understand no one is going to say anything good about John Terry, but I do believe he's the best defender I've ever seen.
I really rate Terry. I think Terry's better than Rio. He's two-footed, really good defender. What you're looking for, defender.
You're rating John Terry over Rio?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I do.
What
I really do. I think he's absolutely outstanding as a player, a leader, two-footed, great defender, won all his headers. It's just proven he's one of the best in the Premiership of all time. Then we look at people like Van Dijk and Vincent Kompany. We talk about the best Premiership defenders. You got to throw them in. So with Nesta as well, Nesta was like an amazing defender too. Obviously came up with Lazio and ended up at AC Milan and won Champions League and won the World Cup as well. But you could argue Cannavaro over Nesta. But yeah, I've always liked Nesta over Cannavaro. I think Nesta's taller, stronger, and just like a complete like stroller where he just made everything look easy. So that's a great partnership, and I can't fault you on that one. I think it's brilliant.
I think everyone else is going to fault me on this.
Okay, well, look, let's just start from a few of them. Somebody said so Tyrone said Cannavaro's too small. Elite Baller started it with "Oh God." I'm going to assume this is exactly the time that you mentioned, yeah, because Andrew Williams got I am Titanium's called him a racist. Tyrone is laughing at the John Terry comment. Let me get that up. Matty Bassett is saying Nesta year, but not Terry. Elite Ballers unsubscribed for the Terry inclusion. Big G is saying what Terry. Tyrone is saying I get Nesta, but Terry isn't even the best centre back he's seen in England. Ferdinand and Deadly King were better. Terry is all right if you can keep him away. I didn't read the end of that. Sorry, I just come up. So a lot of people disagree. Bath time, and I'm still not having that. He's better than Rio. No way.
For me, he was, but like, look, it's just about opinions and things, and I think that an example of it is when you look at Rio's physical gifts. And then you compare them to John Terry's physical gifts. I think that you'd fairly unanimously say that the defending that John Terry did was of a higher caliber because he didn't rely on athleticism to do anything. And he also had the least amount of goals scored against him in a Premier League season, which still stands.
Well,
but it's opinions. I don't mind if you think this is wrong. Who would you pick, Yabba?
Obviously, I would have gone for. I think Beckenbauer was like a legend, like trumps these two as a footballer. You think about in 1966, what he did, get to the final, won it in 1974 in the home tournament, won the Euros as well in the 70s and 72. And then he went on a free with Bayern Munich. They won it 3 years in a row, the Champions League as well. And this is a guy who actually played with a shoulder injury in 1970 and scored a great goal against England and to knock them out as well. He was an all-round player. To create this role where it's called the Beckenbauer. If you have a position named after you or a role named after you, it means a defender that can get the ball, can play out of defence, and just great on the ball and great dribbler and great leader. And obviously, he's one of only 2-3 guys who have captained a World Cup win and managed a World Cup win for the country as well with West Germany in 1990. It's fantastic. So I think the other two was not captains, but there was Deschamps was a captain, I think, in 98 and won it with France in 2018. And then there was the Brazilian guy who won it in 58 and then managed them in 94. So, yeah, what a great player Beckenbauer was. And I would also maybe put Maldini in there and maybe throw in another left back. I don't know. It's tough, but you've got a great list to choose from.
All right.
He chose Terry.
Yep.
Okay, so my list, I think I win this on both players. And I'll just have to explain why. So the first player for me is one of the best. This is South America, mind you. So I've got a Chilean guy who my dad always told me about him. I always watch him, and I play defense. And I watch him, how he plays, and that's how I think the best defenders should play. His name is Elias Figueroa, and he won this is how good he is, yeah. Chilean, he played in '66 World Cup, and he played up until the 1982 World Cup. He played in 3 World Cups for Chile, who, clearly not the best South American team back in the day. Outstanding player, outstanding. We didn't play in Europe, played in Brazilian league, but absolute top draw centre back. And he won, imagine this, he won from 74, 75, 76. He won the South American Footballer of the Year. So at that time, there was no Ballon d'Or. South Americans weren't included in the Ballon d'Or. So you could consider he could have got a Ballon d'Or as a centre back back then. Go and check him out, Elias Figueroa. He would intercept the ball on his feet, just pinch the ball and then play it out. Very just simple, effective, and just create attacks from pinching the ball. Read the game brilliantly, and just such a leader as well. He carried Chile on his shoulders for a number of years. So imagine that, getting South American Footballer of the Year 3 years running in an era where there's Rivellino, Zico, all these guys, great players, So he's one of the best centre-backs of all time, and he's from Chile. So that's my vote. And his partner will be, it's easy one, it's Passarella. I mean, when you talk about the best centre-backs of all time, Passarella has to be up there. Argentine, won the World Cup.
Should we have put an age limit on this? There's going to be people who have no idea who Passarella is.
Of course they will. Everyone knows who Passarella is.
Sorry, sure. Everybody, we've got 16 people watching. Have you heard of Passarella? Yes or no? I know Andrew would have done. I definitely know Andrew would have done. But anybody else heard of Passarella?
All right, let me just explain why Passarella is so good. Guess how many goals he scored in his career in 479 games?
How much goals he scored?
Yeah, how many goals
did he score? Yeah, none. He's a defender.
He's a centre-back, but how many goals did he score in 479 games?
75 would be incredibly impressive.
Okay, Mr. B?
112.
Okay, you're both wrong. I'm going to do a Bruce Forsyth, higher or lower? Higher. Higher than 100.
173.
I took on 500.
143, lower than 100. 143 goals.
So you got over 1 in 4?
Yes.
Wow.
This is a lot of free kicks. An absolute master free kick taker, a leader of men, won the World Cup in 1978, and one of the best centre-backs we've ever seen. Passarella, go and check it out, left-footed. If only Martinez could follow his lead and be a player like Martinez. We look at Martinez's distribution, saying he's got good pass on him and everything else. Passarella, he's masters him as a pass of the ball, and great centre back, leader, World Cup winner. What more can I say? Passarella and Figueroa. I think that trumps Nesta and Terry, but it's not my decision, is it? I think I've tried to sell it as much as I can. If you don't know about these players, maybe come back next week and say, by the way, you're probably right about Passarella and Figueroa. Like I said, Figueroa three times in a row. What form must you be having to win the South American Player of the Year 3 times in a row of all the great players in the 74, 75, 76? 3 World Cups he played in as well, and just a magnificent player. Interception, reading of the game, and then Passarella scored like 149 goals in 400 odd games, won the World Cup in 78 in the home tournament, and just recognised throughout history as one of the best centre-backs of all time, left-footed genius. Mr. B, over to you.
Nobody's heard of Passarella, by the way. People are talking about Lucio, Rudy Kroll. Somebody said, Stephanie said, I have no idea who that is either. I am way out on this one. Bart's mentioned Thiago Silva, and we deserve better saying Franco Baresi.
Good player. I mean, I'm very impressed, Yabo, that you know who Figueroa was. He's an absolute legend in Chile.
Oh, you lived in Chile and played there?
Yeah, he does Match of the Day. Oh, well, he did when I was there. He presented it. He's genuinely his status is sort of up there with Charlton, here, to be honest. He's it would be a crime against my spiritual homeland, for spiritual football homeland, not to have him in. So John Terry can piss off. I would personally, I was like Walter Samuel. I think Godin is a really good shout. I like Montero.
Somebody mentioned Godin.
Bar of all people.
Was it? Bar? Really?
Yeah.
Something sensible came out of his mouth for a change. Ooh, well done, Bart. Okay,
well, Bart did
he
some very
Godin.
good trolling earlier on, where he said, "Could we do a combined Scandinavian 11 for the Premier League? Because it would be all Liverpool players. You'd have like Hoopier and things in it." So there's a no from me, but good try.
Here we go. Tyrone is asking, didn't Figueroa not score from the halfway line once? Yeah,
I think maybe he did. I'm not sure. I think he might have though, because he did score a lot of goals. But I'm comparing it to Passarello, who scored a lot. Then you got a player like Ronald Koeman. I'm surprised you didn't throw him in, because for me, he's one of my favourite players.
Didn't see him.
Yeah, but if you go and check his record for goals, he's the top scoring goal scorer of centre back ever. And you talk about over Mikhailov, I think he's better free kick taker than Mikhailov.
Yeah, but was he a good defender?
Not
there's other players in the team who can take free kicks. So where are you going to put him in?
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, exactly. I've got James Ward-Prowse as my right winger. So we don't need.
All right, let's move on because we're slowing this up now. Let's get on to the position.
Right back.
Yeah, right back. Let's go.
These are the three runners-up for right back. Dennis Irwin, obviously. I don't think I need to tell a Manchester United channel about how Dennis Irwin is the best fullback to have played in the Premier League. Two-footed, unbelievable. I put Philip Lam in. He's won the World Cup as captain. I believe he revolutionised inverted fullbacks. And then Lilian Thuram, who scored 2 goals against Croatia in the '98 semi-final. He played as a centre-back, I believe, for Juve, for Parma. He was at Juve as well.
Yeah.
But I think that when you consider like legendary right-back performance, you can't have a list without Lilian Thuram. There were other people like Zambrotta was someone I thought about. And I know I'm going up against Cafu, or I assume I am. So I've cheated a little bit, but I can justify it. My number one right back from Europe is Sergio Ramos, who played at right back in 2008 and 2010 in the World Cup and has more Premier Leagues than Mr. B. He has points on his license, or Champions Leagues even, and is, in my opinion, one of the greatest defenders that Europe has produced. So that is my that's what's going up against Cafu.
Okay, yeah, it is Cafu for me. So it's going to be. Do I need to say any more? Cafu. He won the '94 World Cup. He won the '98. Got to the final of '98 World Cup, and then got to another final in 2002. That's 3 finals in a row. Won 2 and lost 1. Obviously away in France, we had the home advantage. Cafu just revolutionised the right back position. You could see how skillful he was, how composed he was. He can get forward. You've seen that ball juggling he did on Nedved against Lazio.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, just we'll go and watch that to see what a talented player he was. Played for Roma under Capello. Then ended up at AC Milan, who once had a back 4 of Maldini, Yapstam, Nesta, and Cafu. I mean, that's crazy, isn't it? But yeah, for me, it's Cafu. That's all I need to say. Cafu. I think he's the best right back. I think he wins this.
If I put Ramos as a centre back, does he get in ahead of Passarella?
That would be a better argument, I think. Maybe.
I wanted a stronger one for right back. All right. Do you want to see who?
Midfield 3. Should we do the 3 all at once?
Well, I've got. We can go for like an hour and then just do it another day. Finish it off.
All right.
Yeah. Because I prefer to do it in detail as opposed to just whiz through. So I picked 3 completely different central midfielders here that haven't made the list. Roy Keane. Do I need to say any more?
No.
N'Golo Kante. He's won a World Cup. He won a Premier League at Leicester, and the next season at Chelsea. I think that he's a wonderful player. And then one of the most handsome men ever, it's Pirlo, who I think really found his niche as a number 6 for Juve. But the thing is that in Italy, this is where you put your best passer at number 6. Why people like Jorginho play there. And those are the 3 that were runners up. But there can be only one Yabba, and I'm fairly sure you know who I've put at number 1.
Of course, everyone knows.
Yeah. Busquets, one of my favourite players of all time, one of the greatest midfielders that Europe has ever produced. People might talk about someone like Makelele, but Busquets is absolutely unbelievable as a football player. I could write sonnets about how he disguises his passes, his one-touch control. He wins his headers. Wasn't the best at covering ground, but didn't need to. He's part of the Barcelona treble team. He won 2008, 2010. But Busquets, it has to be for me.
Andrew Williams has said Darius will go for Busquets. Tyrone has gone. You can't beat Busquets. Busquets. Xavi, and Iniesta. Andrew Williams will actually go for Kante. Tyrone is gone for Busquets. Phil has gone Busquets or Rijkaard. Bart has gone Makelele or Busquets. He's saying it's a toss-up. Tyrone's gone Busquets or Makelele. Big G, Pirlo, Iniesta and Xavi. It's a little slight disagreement here. Oh God, Matty, no, he's bloody not. Matty Bassett's gone Rodri's better than Busquets. Oh my God, Matty, come on.
All right, Yabba.
Right.
Brazilians produce good defensive midfielders.
Yeah,
I'm interested who you've gone for.
I'm glad you've gone being specific with the defensive midfielder. That's the player I've had to get in. Because you could just play all these attacking players and there wouldn't be no balance to your side, would there? At least you've got a defensive midfielder to give yourself more balance and make it more realistic. Otherwise, you throw all these attacking midfielders and there wouldn't be no shape or they'd get run through. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I've gone for a defensive midfielder as well. And I think the best defensive midfielder of South American history, and I'll back it up, is Didi. He played in 1954 World Cup, 1958 World Cup, and a 1962 World Cup.
Come on, man. 1954.
Yeah.
The cut-off was 66, Yabba. We said that last night.
Wasn't.
Yes, you did. Say that? Yes.
Yeah, I did. This is football history.
You're like a woman. Right. You only hear what you want to hear.
Are you gonna say, "Oh, forget about my great grandfather. He didn't exist"? I mean,
he did exist.
You can't go off your forefathers. They're the ones who.
Nobody knows who this guy is. 1954.
Yeah, the 1954 World Cup. And the 1958 World Cup in Sweden, they won. All right, due to him, and he was voted the player of the tournament.
The Pele.
Yes, because Pele only came on the sub late in the tournament. And started playing in semi-final, quarter-final against Wales, semi-final. He started playing then. But Didi was the leader in 58, and he won the World Cup for Brazil in centre midfield, just running the show. If you go and watch footage, he was the Busquets of the time. But he had better legs, more legs. He can get up and down the pitch. He scored an abundance of goals as well. In 1962, he went and won the World Cup again, being one of the best players. Stephanie Griffiths. Very fun. Exterminate her! Exterminate! Let's get her out of it.
Who's your number 2?
What, as in that position?
Yeah.
Well, Didi's my favorite guy, but I've got players like Dunga because even though he's not my favorite, Falcao for Roma in 1982. And then I've also got Socrates, the guys I can throw in. And Redondo, I think if he stayed fit, I think he was a perfect player. But that's my preference. And Valderrama, of course, who's on my bench. But I'm sticking with Didi because he won 2 World Cups and he was voted Player of the World Cup in 58. And he was instrumental in Brazil, who had a lot of flair and everything else, winning 2 World Cups in a row. He's an absolute legend. We don't forget about our forefathers. I think it's disrespectful to sort of, it's like you go into your family album and just ripping out pages of all the people that existed pre-66. It's outrageously disgraceful. Didi, I'll give you Busquets on this, but I'm put some respect on Didi's name.
I've never heard of him, so I can't put any respect on his name. I'm sorry, I've never heard of him. And if you talk, I'm not watching football from 1954. It has no relevance to my life at all. But 1966.
Yeah, I've conceded, but I just gave him a shout. I would accept Busquets as the player because we're coming to the attacking players next, and I know I am running everything. I'm winning everything.
So at the moment we have got Buffon in goal.
That's one European. Left back
Maldini. Centre back was Figueroa
and Passerella.
So that's 2-2.
Right back.
That's 3-2-2.
Cafu.
And now it's 3-3
because of Busquets. Yeah. Okay, so we going to do two central midfielders, 2-8s, yeah.
Okay. I've got my right-sided central midfielder, and these are the three that didn't make it. One of them I think you'll like, Yabba, which is Clarence Seedorf. Got Patrick Vieira. I specifically chose not to put him in an Arsenal kit. And then Paul Gascoigne, who I thought was an incredible player on his day, like absolutely incredible. But the person that I went with is, I think, pretty difficult to argue with. It's Xavi Hernandez alongside Busquets. I don't think I need to make an argument about why I think Xavi is the best right-sided midfielder that we've seen.
Andrew Williams can argue with you what he just said.
That we've seen.
Lothar Matthäus?
Yeah, Lothar Matthäus, man. Wow.
We deserve better. Has gone Iniesta.
Maybe that's the left-sided player.
What, Busquets, Iniesta, Xavi?
I don't think you can really argue too much with that, can you? But look, we'll see what pops up.
All right. So my right-sided midfielder, I think trumps Xavi. Xavi's a great player, no doubt about it. But my right-sided midfielder is a player that I love so much. There's 10 years between me and my brother. But when he was born, because my name is Zach with a Z.
Okay.
I pleaded with my family, if I got a brother come in 1985, I want him to be called Zico because he was my favorite player. Absolutely outstanding. In the 80s, there's so many great number 10s and midfielders of class. But for me, Zico is the best. He's up there in Messi, Maradona level, all these sort of players. He's in that same bubble. He even, for me, trumps Platini, who scored something like 9 goals in 1984 European Championships in one tournament. It's absolutely crazy. So I think Zico is one of the best players of all time. Now, he didn't win a World Cup. He played in one of the most exciting teams in 1982. He was the main guy in that team. In
the bottling team.
Sorry?
The bottling team from Brazil.
Yeah, that team. And they also bottled it in 1986 against the French side. He came on a sub, won a penalty, and missed it. And then they went out on penalties in the shootout as well. But Zico, if you just look at, you ask Graham Souness, the great Liverpool side, who won the Champions League, who they had to go and play Flamengo, who at that time, none of their players were coming to Europe. Zico was in that team, Junior, and all these guys. And they played Souness and Dalglish off the park. They couldn't get a touch, and they realized there's levels here outside of Europe, South American players. Zico is one of the best players of all time. Let me just get up some stats for you, just to highlight, as from a midfielder, how good he was. He played 333 games, scored 192 goals. This was a midfielder. For Brazil, he played 71 caps and scored 48 goals. Let me repeat that. 71 caps, scored 48 goals. And you want to know how good this guy is, because people don't
What did he win?
Sorry?
What did he win?
He won many Brazilian titles
internationally.
No, didn't win much internationally. But let me just say this: I'm talking about as a player. You talk about Maradona, how good he was. So this is Zico. Towards the end of his career, like in the mid '80s, he came to Europe. He came and played for Udinese for a season. Okay, and he was scored something like 20 goals or something like that. I don't know for sure. But he scored 22 goals in 39 games for Udinese in one season Imagine that. There was 1.5, still 2 seasons for thing. 22 goals in 30 odd games as a midfielder in Serie A in the 80s. You know, go and check out his highlights at Udinese. Outstanding. Then he went to Japan and actually brought the level of Japan up. He's trolling out there. So for me, Zico trumps anybody you put in that position from Europe, in my opinion. Zico is an absolute legend. I've explained my reasons why, and I no doubt Mr. B is gonna tip it to the South American to make it 4-3. Can't hear you.
Guess we'll never know.
So, get lost half time. I'm taking Zico over Xavi. Zico was like that year in the World Cup. I was drawing Zico shirts, like colouring in yellow shirts, and obviously, you know, back in the day, there you weren't, you know, my shirt was a white one with yellow Zico that you tape on the back of your shirt. I was Zico, so I'm gonna have Zico. I'm sorry, that's total favoritism. I'm sorry, bath time.
I don't mind. If you pick Yabbers, I'm not that bothered. I just think it's fun to talk about these wonderful players because they've all gone out of the game now.
Zico over Gerrard.
Yeah, of course, guys. I've seen Riquelme thrown out as well. Listen, I've seen all these players play. No one compare. I would back them. If Riquelme was that as good as Zico or even close to him, I would throw him in the argument. But I haven't. Zico trumps these guys by a mile. A midfielder scoring these goals. Go and look at the goal, the 3-2 game in 1982 between Italy. Italy beat Brazil and knocked them out of the World Cup. Yeah, but go and look at that. He was getting marked out of the game by the Italian chopper Harris at the time. You know, forget his name now, but he was getting mud. He used to go man mark people for fun and kick you off the pitch. Now he was trying to get a yard, trying to get something out of it. And you go and look at Socrates' goal against Italy in that game. And this is an example. I can show you overhead kicks and great free kicks. He was a great free kick taker. I can show you other stuff. But for me, this is the moment that Zico shows that what a great player is. Against Italy, the man marking, ferocious, never going to get a red card. They will kick you off the pitch. He got a yard, but doing a cutback Cruyff turn and cut the man in half and then rolled a pass into the run of Socrates, who just beats off for the goal. It's a thing of beauty. And one of the best goals I've ever seen, because to get a yard out of the man mark like that by doing a little cutback and everything else, and it's just a piece of magic. And Zico, to me, wow, what a player!
How did you get Kahinde to play at centre back with a name like Zico? That's a rhetorical question. Yeah. Shout out to Kahinde.
Because that's Danny shit.
All right, I've got a tough one here, and I ummed about this all day. But for the number 10, these guys didn't make it. I'm afraid. I know.
So hold on. So we've got a 6, a 8, and now we're going for a 10. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have.
Go on. I have to see, because there's no way you've got a European team in and this person's not in your team.
Right, Andres Iniesta, Baggio, and Zvonimir Boban. Boban might be one that people don't know as much, but yeah, Dora would kill me if I didn't have it. Like, I haven't put Modric in, so I needed to get one in. But Boban was absolutely unbelievable as a footballer. Unbelievable. Like, I thought I had players like Hadji that I could have stuck in.
Oh wow!
But I went for Boban over those, and obviously Roberto Baggio, unbelievable. But I think it's very clear that the number 10 that I picked is Zizou.
There you go. Look, there you go. All you people who were having babies. I could see people. Where's Zizou? There you go. Andrew Williams just said Zizou, and Tyrone saying, "Oh my God, I forgot about." There you go. There's always space. Don't worry. We save the best until last, don't we? Zizou.
It was difficult though, because Iniesta, Xavi, Busquets. It's very difficult to argue with that being the greatest midfield that Europe has produced.
Yeah, but Zizou was just Jesus Christ.
Do you know what swung it for me is the headbutt. is that because they won the same things, the Euros and the World Cup, but he also headbutted someone in a final, which is magnificent in a way. But also, Euro 2000 is the peak of football, in my opinion. And Zidane was at the head of that peak. The pirouettes, the ability to go one way or another. He was just, there's never been anyone like him. 6'2", nasty bastard, and yet could just produce such magic on a pitch. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if I'm worried about who I'm going up against, but shout out to Zizou. Oh, Yabba. What South American have you got for me here?
I just want to say Zizou, yeah, we talk about internationally, obviously 98 and then 2000, they smashed it. And then he could have had an opportunity. He scored in the final in 2006 and with a penalty. What they called him? Against Buffon, did it? Panenka? No. Panenka, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, Panenka, yeah.
And he was running show. And what he did against Kaká, Ronaldinho and Ronaldo in the quarters, I think, really highlighted what a great player he is. So, yeah, there's only one player that can trump him. For me, my number 10 is Diego Armando Maradona.
Bastard.
I'm so sorry.
Right, I will keep hands down. He wins.
Yeah, well, they both think about. Do I need to go into?
No.
I don't need to say this.
No,
right.
you know what? It's
really
well, that's unlucky. That is an unlucky one because you've got Zizou and then he just comes and says Maradona. You do all of this thing for Zizou and then he just comes with Maradona. Yeah.
It was going to be Pele or Maradona. This is why I try to get the headbutt in as some sort of, I don't know, counter to the hand of God, which resonates more.
But what about effectiveness? Do you reckon Zizou would be, your balance of midfield would be better than mine based on, not because I've got Zico and Maradona, they're quite small, they could get munched and eaten up.
He's got Busquets, he'll just sit in there, man.
We're beating you with set pieces and sitting in. You're not beating John Terry. Come on. And also, I saw some people saying stuff like Platini and things like that. I'm very sorry. I didn't see these players play. But if you want, like maybe in the next couple of days, if you will submit your teams in the comments, we can go through them and things. But this is just meant to be a bit of fun. So if I don't know Platini, or I'm sure Rijkaard and Hullet, Van Basten, players that I never saw. Like I'm sure
Van Basten was mustard. Jesus Christ!
But I can't. Zizou is the standout number 10 from Europe, surely.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. All right, I'm getting crucified from here on in. Left wing. I've got Ryan Giggs, David Silva, and Ginola. All players that I really, really liked. And my number one won't be that popular, but it's Thierry Henry. Once again, what he did internationally, what he did in the Premier League, we all hate him because he's so good. But what a fabulous player he was. I think he's he nearly hit the heights of Marcus Rashford, and I'm really worried about like who I'm going to put up against Anthony when Yabba does it. But... right, come on, Yabba, who have you got?
Yeah, I mean Thierry Henry is a great player, isn't he? He's scared the Premiership, with his pace and ability, and playing in off the left. He's right-footed, obviously, he can cut in and score goals like that. And you didn't even mention like people like Mbappe. There's so many players when you get into forward position.
I thought about Mbappe, but he's still playing, and I didn't think it was fair.
So there's so many players in forward positions where we could just be drooling about all these great players from the past. I've had to pick the best team for South America, and I've had to try to get some balance and fit players in. And this one was quite difficult for me because I had to fit certain man in, and it's not this guy that
Can
this
I
guy
guess?
was doing. Yeah,
Jay-Z.
Jarzinho. Oh no.
Rivellino?
The balance, man. No, it's not Jarzinho or Garrincha. It's none of those two. It's someone. It's a forward similar to Henry who could play down the middle, but it's just a playmaker who could do a bit of everything. And he's not the position that I had worries with. It's the other centre forward position, and I couldn't mix them up. So the player I'm playing from the left to match up against Omri is a player who is just probably the best player of all time, and that's Pele. Do I need to go on? Do I need to give a summary about
Left
why?
winger.
Well, playing off the left, he could. People forget he was an attacking midfielder. He was a striker. He could play. Look at what he did in 1970, where he's drifting around playing football. He could in a good team.
So who, I want to know who you've got up front. If you've got Pele left wing, I'm sorry.
It's not
He's got
left wing.
Ronaldo and he's got Messi. Like, what am I going to do against Pele, Ronaldo, and Messi?
Oh fuck.
That's my And I was going to put Di Stefano in on the left.
He's European.
Drop Ronaldo. No, Di Stefano's Argentinian.
Played for Spain.
Yeah, but he's Argentinian. He's born in.
We count him as European.
All right, I'm gonna have to scrape it out then if you're gonna go with that. That's no argument. All right, so I've gone for Pele to play in off the left, drifting, pick up the ball, pop it around. Just a beautiful footballer. The best for me. He's the best footballer of all time. No argument about it for me. And I will say that to my deathbed that Pele is the greatest ever footballer we've ever seen. And he's playing on my left and he's up against Omri. Mr. B.
I don't think you can argue with what you've got. I like Henry, but you've squeezed Pele into the left wing. So I don't see there's an argument with Pele playing the argument we played left wing, but I don't think you've got an argument with Pele over Thierry Henry.
Okay. Me neither. I mean, like the next one, I might be able to fluke this one, but I don't think I'm going to. So I'm going to do striker now, Yabba.
Yeah. Okay.
These are three that didn't make it that I wanted to stick in, which is obviously Wayne, Alan Shearer, and Francesco Totti, who I believe is one of the most underrated players of all time. Absolute dream of a forward. But there can be only one, and I think, who do you think it is, Mr. B? Best European striker.
European striker? Oh, Cristiano Ronaldo, isn't it? Is that you?
Certainly is.
Yeah.
So I've gone for Ronaldo, and maybe I'm going up against his namesake. I don't know. Yeah, but Eusebio with players like this will be bouncing around that head of yours.
Yeah, I think Gerd Muller deserves a mention. The bomber.
Okay.
He was his goal record was outstanding, but then obviously Ronaldo's goal record was great. I've heard a comment the other day. Someone was criticizing Ronaldo, saying it was Cassano said that he rates other players over him, like Van Basten and things, because Ronaldo is just turned into a goal scorer. He doesn't contribute to all for the team, and we saw that recently at Man United. We could accuse him of that. And he doesn't really contribute much else. He's just scoring goals now, and that's all he's about. But does he contribute much to the team in that respect? It's going to be Ronaldo versus the phenomenon Ronaldo, and I can understand what. For me, it's always going to be R9, but I understand why people could pick Ronaldo R7 over R9. Even though I don't agree with it, I understand it. Because of the goal record, because of the modern football, because of his longevity. But I think in the spell that we saw from PSV to Barcelona to the early days at Inter, for me, I don't think we rarely see anyone during that age and that impact that he had, almost a goal a game during those clubs. He was absolutely unstoppable, outstanding. He had everything about him. And he's just loved by everyone. But I understand if you put CR7 over him, and I think I might just concede and say, look, due to
you're not,
and career, maybe you can take that one.
No,
it's up to you.
No, I'm not having that.
I'm taking R9.
Me too.
He played Real Madrid, Barcelona, Inter Milan, and AC Milan.
Yeah,
come on, man, don't mess about, bro. And all of the fans loved him. There wasn't no hatred. Is
there an argument, Mr. B?
No. There's no argument.
I don't think there is. I'll be honest.
Finishing. Who's better finisher?
Ronaldo. R9.
R9. I don't see it as a competition. I know there's going to be people in the chat who obviously hasn't seen R9 play, but he was scoring goals from the halfway line, dribbling past players when players were allowed to go straight through the back of you. You know what I mean? Nah, man, there's nothing, man. Hands down, I go R9.
Is there anyone who
He's-
can make a case for R7?
Not to me. Like R9 is my first footballing love. Like his celebration is I think like 10 years ago, as a fat, overweight 37-year-old, he chipped a goalkeeper in the final for Corinthians, in front of Neymar and Pele against Santos. Like he scored a hat trick against Man United as half the player he was.
Yeah.
Like, and I think only Shearer can kind of like be sort of placed next to him in players that were still world class, even after they'd had terrible, terrible injuries. Roy Keane as well, I suppose. But I just think that what I saw as a young boy, that's the greatest footballer that I've ever seen. The years that you're talking about, that's better than Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo. That's better than anything I've ever seen, the PSV and Barcelona things. And to me, he's the best player that I've ever seen.
You know, it was the step over, man.
Yeah.
You knew it was coming, and it was so quick. It was like boom, boom. Before most people's foot was still in the air. His was already. Oh, Jesus Christ, man! Yeah, he was bad. Yeah,
at pace as well. It's much frightening, isn't it, to have him coming at you? Bit of everything. Yeah, it's interesting that. But he's kind of forgotten about.
I don't think so.
I think he is because of when you type in Ronaldo now into the search bar, and who's going to come up?
It's like rainbows, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, look, Cristiano and Ronaldo might be remembered for longer, but Ronaldo was like, do you remember that New Zealand bloke, John Olomu?
Yeah.
Like, who just completely, it was like watching a man against children when he played. Like, I've never got, that's the feeling that you used to get from R9. Like, he was from the future. And Cristiano Ronaldo, goal-scoring machine, we love him for what he did for the club. I'm not doing him down at all. But R9 was magic and fantasy and something that I feel that Ronaldo and Messi took out of their games. Like, they lost the fun and the things. Like, I think the way to answer it is, would you prefer to watch Ronaldo play football, Cristiano Ronaldo, or would you prefer to watch R9 play football? And for me, it's R9, I'm afraid.
I want to stay on this just for a couple more minutes. R9 never won a Champions League.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
R9 bottled it in '98 or something.
He had an epileptic fit.
Well, that's what they said.
What about Zico then? He bottled stuff.
Did he really? I don't know.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
Missed penalty, didn't he?
But they didn't report it. He had two fits.
Yeah. I'm just playing devil's advocate. Obviously, I don't truly believe, but I'm trying to wind people up. So he had an opportunity to shine in '98 final away against a great French side, and he something happened to him, maybe nerves or he had a fit or something. We will never know the truth of that situation.
But what happened 4 years later?
He had a serious injury, had 2 major knee surgeries, came back in Japan and Korea, and actually became Golden Boot winner and scored 2 goals in the final.
Yeah. So, but I mean, the other thing is that for me, and this is why, like, I'm not getting too bothered about who's in the team or stuff. This is just my like experience of these players. R9 in that airport when I was like 8 years old or something, it was like it was magic. Like the Nielsen, like the Nielsen, Roberto Carlos, even Eric Cantona was in it. It was something that you haven't seen before, and it's probably because he was my childhood hero, like more than anyone. But with Cristiano Ronaldo, all the records, the hunger, the desire, staying at the top, one of the most famous people of all time. I've got no issues with like people saying that CR7 is better. But did Cristiano Ronaldo ever get busted drunk with 3 transsexual prostitutes? Because Ronaldo did, and that's why he gets my vote.
First the headbutt, then the 3 caddies. Yeah,
man of the people.
Oh,
real man.
All right, so it's Ronaldo. Last one. This one, I'm going to lose this one as well, but these are the players that I didn't put in at right wing, but I considered. Bex, unbelievable. Figo, unbelievable. And it took me a while, but I found Arjen Robben with hair, if no one recognised him. I think that Robin is a little bit like Makalele, where whenever you talk about an inverted winger cutting in and shooting, it's Robin that you think about. A great player. But the one I went for, which I don't think people are going to like, is I think the best right winger that I've seen in my lifetime from Europe is Gareth Bale.
Wow.
I think that he was unbelievable for 2 seasons at Tottenham. Unbelievable. He broke the world record transfer fee. He was a hell of a player. And I think that he's in any argument as to who the greatest player produced by the British Isles is. I think that Gareth Bale has to be in it. I get so sad we didn't sign him. It was awesome.
Just to clarify, guys, in the comments, I mean, Bath Times criteria was he's going players that he's seen. So clearly, obviously, everyone would say Cruyff and all these other players from the past, but you have to give respect to Bath Time because he's picking players that he's seen and he's qualified to talk on. And Bell, you have to admit, with his running power, with his that left foot of his, he was a beast. And we have to put some respect on his name.
Yeah, but I mean, like, look, there'll be other there'll be like Cruyff, there'll be some French bloke that I've never heard of. Like, there'll be like, you know, some bloke from like like the Hungarian team or something like that. But just for me, Gareth Bale, right wing for Spurs and Real Madrid was unbelievable.
And he's the only British player you've got in your 11.
Yes, except John Terry, but he's a bastard, so he doesn't count.
All right, so yeah, great shout. And obviously, on the right side for me, I've gone for Lionel Messi. Messi. I mean, is he the best player of all time? People argue that. I don't think he is. What Joey Barton came out the other day. Did you hear that? With his comments about Messi.
No, I don't listen to Joey Barton though. To be honest, what's he said now?
Well, Joey Barton's come out the other day and said Messi is not the greatest player of all time. He's a cheat. He's a fraud. He was given human growth hormones, and he wouldn't be. He'd just be an average player if he wasn't pumped full of drugs to get him into sort of certain size to play competitive football. And the same was done with Maradona. I think Maradona received some sort of growth drugs or something to get him to.
Joey Barton can do one because he match fixed against us for QPR, booting the ball out for a throw in, letting that Aguero happen. I've got no time with Joey Barton. Not allegedly. I'm saying it now. See you in court, Barton.
Allegedly.
Barton.
Match fixer.
All right, yeah. So, do we need to argue on that one, Mr. B? You got Messi up against Gareth Bale.
There's no argument there. There's no argument there.
Well, that was my my team.
That's an amazing team, bro.
It's not bad, is it? When you look at it like in its totality.
The funny thing is, I think I know I've won like man for man, because of the forward line that I've come into, but for balance and strength in modern day football, I've got someone like Didi in there from the 50s who probably wouldn't be able to compete physically. Maybe it's if that you're going to go down that road, and maybe my team would get munched against your team. Who knows? But you've got a great team there. Anyone in the comments, if you want to come and put your teams up there and send them to us, so we put them up with your name, everything.
Just not today.
Yeah. Not today,
and probably not tomorrow because we have a special guest on tomorrow.
Yeah, Jay is supposed to be in the house tomorrow. It doesn't look like there's going to be any breaking news, so we will have Jay on tomorrow. So keep the questions polite.
Andrew Williams saying there, that's what everyone was saying about the allegation from Barton. How does human growth hormones make him the best finisher he's ever seen? He's got the talent, but he's basically saying that helped him, if that's the case, if that he did receive that. I think it's true. I think there is a lot of truth to that, but regardless of that, it is what it is. And I would still say Ben Johnson's probably one of the fastest guys I've ever seen run 100 meters, even though it was like 32 years ago, whatever it was, or even longer maybe.
But Bolt's beating the time that he cheated with anyway, though, isn't he?
Yeah, but it took people 10 years to match that time. Maybe 11 years in Maurice Green in 97, 98. Took like, so it's an amazing feat to see someone run that fast and things. There's no evidence, I know, but it's Joe Barton said it, and we call him BS maybe. But yeah, guys, that was a great show. What great players we talked about here.
Happy birthday for tomorrow, Vincent.
Yeah, Vincent. Yeah, like Mr. B said. I echo what Mr. B said earlier. You saw my message. You saw a message from Solo and from everyone in the agenda, man. We're thinking about you, bro.
And with that, guys, bath time. Is there anything else you want to say?
No, like if you can all pop in tomorrow to Show to Sport to Jay Motti, and remember that at the moment we've all got our feelings about Erik ten Hag. And I've got a lot of feelings about Mason Mount today, finding out that he's picked up a knock and so on. But tomorrow, you're all part of our community and you're all part of our agenda family. And I hope that you do us all proud tomorrow. And it's really nice to see that you're not all arguing, calling each other idiots for once. You're calling me the idiot. So I'm all right. But put if you're watching later or you're watching now, put your team in the comments, because last night you had an absolutely brilliant comment from, is it Pip Squeaker or someone like that? Yeah, that I genuinely longed when I saw that.
Did you see the message? Oh,
have you not seen? Someone said he starts off by saying he's not going to speculate, then starts speculating about Ten Hag phoning in using his smartwatch, which I enjoyed a lot, because that's exactly what you did.
That was a Bumblebee or someone. Yeah, I did see the comment.
Yeah, there's a comment after the chat. Yeah,
it's Pipski's revenge.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, look, guys. Look, we will be back tomorrow. Obviously, you know it's gonna be. It may well be earlier, so please hit the notification. But we may well be going at half 8. But look, we'll see. Hit the notification bell, and boy, it's late, boy. It's like a notch from me.
Like a notch from me.
Like a notch. Thank you for having me.